Who wants to hear a nighttime story from our Sleepy Times tales? Tonight's story is going to be a long one. We are down to the last two stories in this book, so we'll read them both tonight, and we'll be finished with the Sleepy Times tales. This story is coming to you from Hans Christian Andersen, and it is one I've heard many times before. It's a long one for this book. It's The Nightingale. And here's the first picture. You can see the man holding the nightingale, the bird. Here we go. Many years ago in China, there lived an emperor whose palace was the most beautiful in the world. It was built all of fine, costly porcelain and was so fragile that you could touch it only with the greatest of care. The most wonderful flowers blossomed in the garden, and to the most beautiful were tied tiny silver tinker bells, so that no one could pass without noticing them. What a splendid garden it was! Its boundaries stretched so far that even the gardener didn't know where the garden ended. If you walked and walked, you would come upon a beautiful forest with towering trees and shimmering lakes. The wood reached down to the sea, which was blue and so deep great ships would sail beneath the branches. Here the nightingale made its home. Its singing was so magical that the poor fisherman, though he had many chores, would lie still and listen when he was out at night drawing in his nets. Travelers from all around the world came to the emperor's town and admired the palace and the garden, but when they heard the nightingale, they all agreed, "This is the best of all." When these travelers returned home, they told of what they had seen. Scholars and poets wrote books about the town, palace, and garden, but the nightingale in the wood was always spoken of as the most wonderful of all. The books went round the world, and eventually some of them reached the emperor. He sat in his golden chair and read, nodding his head, for he loved to read beautiful descriptions of his town, palace, and garden. "But the nightingale is the best of all," he read. "What is this? The nightingale. I know nothing about it." Then he called his lord-in-waiting. "Where is this wonderful bird called the nightingale? Everyone knows about it but me. I want to hear it sing tonight." "I've never heard of it before," answered the lord-in-waiting, "but I shall find it." But where to look? The lord-in-waiting ran up and down all the stairs through the halls and passages, but no one in the court had ever heard of a nightingale. At last he met a poor little girl in the kitchen. She said, "Oh yes, the nightingale, I know it well. How it can sing! Every morning I have permission to take what is left from the table to my poor sick mother, who lives near the seashore. And on my way back, when I feel tired and rest a while in the wood, I hear the nightingale sing, and my eyes are filled with tears. It's as though my mother were kissing me." So the little girl led the way into the wood, followed by half the court, and she pointed to the little gray bird up in the boughs. "Is it possible?" asked the lord-in-waiting. "How dull and ordinary it looks, but perhaps seeing all these grand people has made it lose its color." "Little nightingale," called out the little kitchen maid, "our gracious emperor wishes to hear you sing for him tonight." "I sing best among the green trees," said the nightingale, but it came willingly when it knew that the emperor wished it. The palace was decorated for the special occasion. The porcelain walls, the ceiling shone in the light of the 1,000 golden lamps. The halls were filled with the most beautiful flowers, tied with the tinkling silver bells. In the great hall stood a golden perch on which the nightingale sat. Everyone in the court came dressed in their richest finery and looked toward the little gray bird, to which the emperor nodded. Then the nightingale sang so gloriously that tears rolled down the emperor's cheeks, and the song went straight to his heart. He was so pleased with the nightingale, he offered it gold and silver, but the nightingale declined. The emperor's tears were enough reward. The nightingale was to stay at the palace now, and have its own cage, with the liberty to go out twice in the day and once at night. 12 servants went with it, each holding a silk ribbon, which was tied to the bird's leg. There was little fun in this kind of outing. One day a large package came for the emperor. On it was written the word Nightingale. In the parcel lay an artificial bird studded with diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. When you wound it up, it sang one of the songs the real bird sang, and its tail moved up and down, and glittered with gold and silver. It sang its song 33 times, and still wasn't tired. Then the emperor suggested the real nightingale sing, but where was it? Nobody had noticed it had flown out an open window and back to its green woods. "But what is the meaning of this?" asked the emperor. All the court people criticized the nightingale and said it was ungrateful. The bandstand praised the artificial bird and said it was better than the real bird and much handsomer to look at. The real nightingale was banished from the kingdom, and the artificial bird took its place on a silk cushion next to the emperor's bed. It was honored with the title of High Imperial Bedroom Singer. A whole year passed, and everyone was happy with the new bird. But one evening there was a whirling sound inside the bird. The wheels ran round, and the music stopped. The emperor sent for the watchmaker, who said the hammers in the bird were so worn out, from now on it could be wound only once a year. 5 years passed, and the emperor became very ill. He lay his gorgeous bed, with its long velvet cushions and heavy gold tassels. High up a pillow stood open, and the moon shone upon the emperor and the artificial bird. The emperor could hardly breathe. He felt as if someone were sitting on his chest. He opened his eyes and saw that it was Death, wearing the emperor's own golden crown and holding his golden sword. Strange faces peered from the folds of the velvet curtains. Some were ugly, and others were mild and friendly. These were the emperor's good and bad deeds. As they whispered to him, the emperor cried, "Music, music, so that I cannot hear what they are saying. Precious birds, sing." But the birds sat silent. There was no music left in it. Death went on gazing at the emperor, and all was terribly still. Suddenly a lovely song came drifting in the window. It was the little gray nightingale from the wood. It had heard of the emperor's illness and had come to comfort him. As it sang, the emperor felt stronger, and the strange faces in the curtains began to fade. Even Death listened to the bird and said, "Go on, little nightingale." The bird sang on. It sang of the quiet churchyard where white roses grow and the green grasses sways. And there came to Death such a longing to see this garden that he floated out the window like a cold white mist. thank you," said the emperor. "You heavenly bird, how can I reward you? You must stay with me always. I cannot build my nest in a palace, but let me come when I please, and I will sit outside your window and sing to you. I will sing to you of happy folk and of those who suffer. I will sing of the evil and of the good which is being hidden from you. I fly everywhere, to the poor fisherman, to the peasant's hut, to many who live far away. Your heart is dearer to me than your crown. I will come and I will sing to you. But promise me one thing." "Anything," said the Emperor, standing there in his imperial robes, with his heavy golden sword held over his heart. "I beg you, let no one know that you have a little bird who tells you everything. It will be far better so." Then the nightingale flew away. The servants came to look upon their dead emperor. Yes, there they stood, and the emperor said, "Good morning." And there is the jeweled nightingale, the music box. So they came in to see their dead emperor, and he was still alive, and said good morning to them. So the little nightingale saved the emperor. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story of the Nightingale from Hans Christian Andersen. And I hope you have sweet dreams, my little ones. Good night, and God bless you all.